the time-saving keystrokes we covered in this chapter.
Tab moves highlight to next hot link. Bookmark. F11 allows us to step into a function. F10 lets us step over a function. Shift plus F11 allows us to step out of a function. Control plus F10 lets us run to cursor. Alt plus 5 displays register window. Alt plus 6 shows the memory window. Alt plus 7 displays call stack window. Alt plus 8 shows the disassembly window. Alt plus 3 places cursor's focus in the watch window. Shift plus F9 displays the quick watch window. Shift plus F5 stops debugging. Control plus Shift plus F5 restarts the debugger.
You may pause the tape now.
Let's review what we have covered in this chapter. First, we learned about the info viewer and some time-saving techniques.
We learned to move through hot links and also view previously viewed info viewer topics. We learned about bookmarks and how to add and access them.
Next, we demonstrated time-saving techniques to use with Visual C++'s debugger. We examined many shortcut keystrokes and opened various windows in the debugger using the Alt key. In this chapter, we are going to learn how to use Timesavers when working with resources such as dialog boxes.
We'll begin at the Microsoft Developer main screen.
With our AppWiz SDI application still opened, let's open the Build menu and select Rebuild All just to get a clean build going. After our application is finished building and has no warnings or errors, we can create a new dialog resource by pressing Ctrl plus 1. To the right, we see the new dialog resource with the control tools displayed. We'll get started by clicking the button control and creating a small button in our new dialog box resource. Have you ever got tired of trying to place or resize a button and just couldn't get it right? Well, here are a few keys to take the bite out of that problem. If we press Shift plus an up arrow, we can size the selected control. We can use the up arrow to make the control smaller, or we can use the down arrow to make the control bigger. Still using the Shift key, we can use the left arrow to make the control thinner, while the right arrow makes the control longer. This gives us a way to size our control with greater precision. With our control still highlighted, let's release the Shift key and use the up arrow only. As you can see, this will move our control up one dialog unit each time we press the up arrow. Pressing the down arrow key moves the control down. And as you may have guessed, the left and right arrows move the control to the left and right respectively. The amount of control we have on dialog resource controls is virtually limitless. Now let's use some alignment shortcuts. First, with our button control still selected, let's press Ctrl plus C. This will create a copy of the button. Now let's press Ctrl plus V twice to create two copies. We'll randomly place these buttons around in the dialog box. Now let's drag a rubber band box around all the buttons in the dialog box. This will select the entire group. With all the buttons selected, let's press Shift plus F9. This aligns the horizontal centers of the selected buttons with the dominant control, or the first button that is selected in the group. With all the buttons still selected, let's press Ctrl plus left arrow. This aligns the left edges of the selected buttons with the dominant control. Pressing Ctrl plus right arrow aligns the right edges of the selected control with the dominant one. Let's deselect the buttons by clicking in an area of the dialog box. Now we'll delete 3 of these buttons, leaving us with 2. We'll move one button to the upper left and one to the lower right. Now select both buttons. Now let's press Ctrl plus down arrow. This aligns the bottom edges of the selected controls with the dominant one. With both controls still selected, we press Ctrl plus Shift plus B. This places the selected buttons along the bottom center of the dialog box. If we press Ctrl plus F9, this will center the controls vertically within the dialog box. Now let's press Ctrl plus B. This places the selected buttons in the top right corner of the dialog box. Let's click our mouse inside the dialog box to deselect all controls. Let's click on the Cancel button. We can display its properties dialog box by pressing Alt plus Enter. Let's change the caption so it reads, "This button will close or cancel a dialog box if initialized correctly." And press Enter. Notice that we can't read the text on our button. With the button selected, we can press F7 to resize the selected control to fit the caption text. Let's press Ctrl plus D. This allows us to set the tab order of the controls in our dialog box. Let's press Ctrl plus G once. This changes our working area to contain grids. If we press Ctrl plus G again, we can display guidelines. If we press Ctrl plus G once more, our working area has no grid or guidelines. Let's press Ctrl plus T. This will run the dialog box to test appearance and behavior. We'll click the OK button to close the testing dialog box.